Rassie Erasmus fires some warning shots at players with mass changes to the Springboks side to take on Italy in the second test. Willie Leroux to play his 100th game for the Springboks, an absolute Springbok legend. Peter Steph to play his first game for the Springboks since November last year, and 3 players to make their debut for the Springboks this weekend in Kanye, Kobus Visa and Ethan Hooker. Before we get into it, let me know in the comments what you guys think of the team. What do you think Rassie's trying to do here? Is it a bit of warning shots with regards to how certain players played last week, how they performed? Or is it just rotating the squad and flexing Springboks depth at the moment? What do you guys think of it? Let me know in the comments. Hit that subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get into it. So Rassie Erasmus names a very much changed squad from last week. Obviously going out with I want response. I'm going to give you guys certain players opportunity, and I'm also going to show other players that there's a lot of guys chomping at the bit to play for the Bokke, and that no one's position is set in stone. No one is walking into this team. We've got a lot of guys that can do a job in all positions, and this squad, I feel like, shows that, or this team that he's named has showed that, because he's made a ton of changes here. More guys are getting introduced into the Springboks setup, making their debuts, and again, just showing the depth. And what I think Rassie wants is a response from these players. And then, like I said, for the other players that weren't picked to see this and be like, okay, like, you don't just get the jersey. You're not just in there. You're not just going to stay there. There's other guys that are coming through. And this is a strong squad. So we'll go through the team. So Thomas du Toit, Malcolm Marx, Wilco Louw up front. If you weren't scared of last week's front row, this front row. Wow. Thomas du Toit, outstanding. In the form of his career at the moment, being outstanding for Bath. I think he won Forward of the Year. He scored one of the top try scorers in the competition this year. Bath go on to win the premiership as well, and he was a key figure within that squad. Can't wait to see what he does back in the green and gold. Back in the green and gold, ready to go, ready to rumble, and I can't wait for that first scrum because, man, Thomas du Toit is your man. There's also someone that can swap between tight head and loose head, and that obviously helps a ton. And then you've got on the bench, you've got Jan-Hendrik Wessels, Oxenchair, and Kanye. Would also love to see Kanye get 20, 30 minutes and see what he does in the international level. Then the locks, we've got Salman Murat and Ruan Nortje, a totally different lock pairing. Salman Murat, captain. Also, this might just be giving Salman Murat another opportunity. I feel like the times he has played with the Springboks, probably not his best performances. Rassie obviously sees something in him with regards to leadership. He's obviously captained the Stormers as well, and he's captained the Springboks before. So he's brought him in there again. Does well in the lineouts. I think Ruan Nortje will help a lot in that regard. And Ruan Nortje obviously playing a lot of 6 flank with the Bulls. Just acts as that extra flank getting around the park as well. So interested to see how that combination goes. And then on the bench, you've got Kobus Visa. That's covering that lock position, who could come on to make his debut. And I'd love to see him and Jasper Visa go at it together. 2 brothers. How just proud must the Visa family be? Fantastic. And for those brothers to do that, unreal. Visa's been outstanding for the Bulls this year in the URC. Glad he got his call up and can't wait to see what he can do on the bench. Coming on and around that 45 or 50 minute mark, could see Rassie just making a whole 5 or 6 player swap there. 5. I think it's a 5-3 split. So you could see all 5 going and a new 5 coming on. The back row of Marco van Staden, Peter Steph du Toit, Jasper Visa. The big one here being Peter Steph du Toit. The last time he's played rugby was November, the end of year tour last year. Got an injury after that, missed the whole Japan, why did I say it like that? Missed the whole Japanese season, and he's back into it, and back. We all know what he can do. I hope he can just take off from where he left off and just keep going because he's outstanding. One of the best to ever do it. Pieter-Steph du Toit, can't wait to see him go in this game. He might only get just to half time and then come off, but who knows. Then Jasper Wiese back in at 8. That 1-2 punch of Pieter-Steph du Toit, Jasper Wiese. Then you've even got Marco van Staden there. Outstanding. Love that back row for sure. Then Ivan Roos is on the bench. And he, obviously, Ruan Norkia is someone that could also maybe change. You could maybe see him go to one of the flanks if necessary. But Ivan Roos, also excited to see him get his opportunity again. Also one of those players that has got opportunity before but hasn't really taken it with both hands. So he'll be itching to go for sure. Then Grant Williams, Marnie Libbok, 9 and 10. Don't mind this combo at all. Marnie Libbok obviously worked massively well or a lot and hard at his kicking off the tee craft. And he nailed it versus the Barbarians, the 4 or 5 opportunities he got. So I'd love to see him get the 10 jersey here and just run it from the start to finish. I would love to see him play a full game. Then Grant Williams, on the other hand, he was outstanding the back end of last year. Bit of injuries throughout the URC, but he's a weapon. A weapon, very fast off the base of the ruck. Love to see, because the new way they play, not necessarily that it's a new way, but we saw Morne van den Berg pick the ball up a lot and play like that, drawing in those 10, 20 defenders, the 10, like the first defender and the second defender. So I'd love that from Grant Williams because he's a lot faster. He's probably one of the fastest players on the field every time he plays. So we'll look for him to do those, pick it up from the base and play off that. Very, very exciting there. Then the centre pairing, Andre Esterhuizen and Caden Moody, like that too. Esterhuizen getting you that front football, strong, just dragging defenders in. And then Caden Mooney's giving you that bit of X factor. Love him at centre. He's obviously can play wing, can play fullback as well. But get him in at centre and love to see what he can do there because they've obviously let Lucanio Am go back to his club. So he wasn't in the initial mix for these next few tests. So they're obviously looking at Jesse Creel's your number 1 starting 13. Caden Moody is an option there. Then I'd love to see Ethan Hooker come on with 30 minutes to go and see what he can do there. We'll be up against someone like Tommaso Menoncello, who's been outstanding for Italy, for Benetton. I'd love to see that little battle for sure. Then the back 3 of Makazolo Mapimpi, Edward van der Merwe, and Willie Leroux. Willie Leroux getting his 100th game. Wow, what a full circle moment. His debut game was versus Italy over a decade ago, and now he'll play his 100th game versus Italy as well. Fantastic. That is unreal. All the haters, all of those guys that say he doesn't deserve it, I wouldn't say there's no one more deserving, but he enters the chat as one of the best Springboks ever because there's only a handful of Springboks or a couple of Springboks that have played over 100 games, and Willie Leroux will be one of those guys. Outstanding. I got to watch him play when I was year 8 and 9. He was playing first team for Paul Roos. I got to watch him run his tee, run the water bottle. He was outstanding then, playing fly off and fullback, and he's outstanding still to this day. How good. Good for Edward van der Merwe as well, getting his next opportunity since Wales last year. Can't wait to see what he can do as well. Has had a couple of weeks off in between games because the last time he played was in the URC. So be interesting to see how he plays, where he comes off his wing, plays with Grant Williams around the rucks, and just what he can do out the back there, just with another opportunity, man. How good. Then you've got, obviously, on the bench, Feinberg Gumuzulu, who can cover 10, centre, fullback, and Ethan Hooker, that I said already, I would love to have him come on at outside centre or wing. Strong squad. Love that Rassie's gone, you know what, I'm changing the whole boat pretty much. And for me, it is a bit of warning shots to some of the regular starters. You're not just going to keep your spot. There's lots of guys within our squad that can play in the starting 15 What do you guys think of that? Let me know in the comments. Hit that subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you next time. Bye.